My name is Kim McCleary, and I'm President and CEO of the CFSAC Association of America. I submitted written testimony with a set of detailed recommendations for the charter, and since that's what we've been asked to speak about, although there are about 50 other things I'd rather talk about, I'll stick to that at your request. I'll highlight the most important recommendations in a moment, but I'd like to begin with a quote that seems particularly apt for this meeting. It comes from a textbook titled Emerging Illnesses in Society, Negotiating the Public Health Agenda. It's edited by a group of researchers at Emory's Public Health School, and it includes a chapter about CFS by Dr. Deborah Barrett at UNC Chapel Hill. These people study us and our action and inaction. It's a little creepy to read, I have to tell you, and I probably have the only signed copy on the planet. That's how much of a geek I am about this stuff. This passage is from the book's introductory chapter. Communities of suffering and those at risk deserve a seat at the table of research and public health policy decision-making. There needs to be a greater sensitivity to the ideological understandings of communities of suffering. On the other hand, communities of suffering also need to recognize that their ideological understandings may not be totally correct. Adversarial actions taken primarily for media attention can impede the process of getting new health problems on the agenda. Until we have all the answers, each side needs to be willing to listen and adapt, and research agendas need to be broadly based and not prematurely narrowed to meet the interests of either party. Public health and medical research institutions can benefit from collaboration in the mission of improving society's health. Medical researchers, public health officials, and communities of suffering need to be partners. That's where the quote ends. We've been saying these things for years, but there's a prevailing sense of defeat, a feeling that sitting at the table has gotten us nowhere. I believe it's never been more important for all of us to stay at the table, but we may need to change the reason for which we gather. The most crucial recommendation in my written testimony is to change the function of this committee, to develop and annually update a strategic plan for the conduct and support of CFS research that includes budgetary requirements, and that's come up several times this morning already. Congress won't likely appropriate more for CFS research than the Department requests in the President's budget, so money is an important factor for this committee to focus on. A cohesive, comprehensive research agenda for the Department that reflects academia, industry, and NGOs is absolutely essential to moving forward in a more effective and efficient manner. This committee has the capacity to develop such an agenda, and it ought to have the mandate to do so through its charter. The Association feels strongly that ex officio representation from other HHS operating divisions should be added, specifically from AHRQ, and we're delighted that Chris is here today, and CMS. I spent time studying the organizational charts for each of the agencies here and included in my written statement specific recommendations for positions that should be targeted to serve on the committee.
Please wrap up.
Okay. Finally, the committee would be well served to engage on a more continual basis with other departments active in CFS research, education, and service delivery, including Department of Defense, Education, Labor, and the VA. This forum for exchange and accountability is too important to lose and should be strengthened for the benefit of all those who come to and belong at this table.